Hot take, Coues deer are the most fun deer to hunt. Well, we're back. It's gonna be episode number 2. We had a lot of fun recording and all that with episode number 1. We had a
Indubitably.
really good conversation about types of hunting, trophy hunting versus meat hunting. Well, if you haven't seen it, go check that one out. It was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Today, we got a different topic.
We do.
One of the biggest things that we've learned with posting to social media and some of that stuff is a lot of people have no idea what a Coues deer is.
It's true.
We did a poll. This actually was a while ago. We got 264 votes. I asked you guys, what is your favorite deer to hunt? Mule deer, Coues whitetail, eastern whitetail, and shed hunting. We just tossed that one in there as sort of a little mulligan. Well, 7% of you voted for shed hunting. I sort of expected that one to be the lowest. Mule deer was actually below Coues deer, and I sort of believe that was our demographic. You know, we posted that in Arizona. A lot of our audience does know what Coues deer are.
Yeah.
So 20% of people voted for Coues deer, 14% voted for mule deer, 59% voted for eastern whitetail. I believe that Coues deer, they're just more fun, you know, and that is what it is. They're a lot smaller.
Correct.
A lot smaller.
Yeah. I mean, just breaking down a quick Google search is all I did. What is a Coues deer? Western whitetail. It's actually called, bear with, Odocoileus virginianus couesi.
We don't speak Latin, if you can't tell.
That's its scientific name. But it's a Coues deer. If you say cows, you're wrong.
Yeah.
That's just plain and simple.
Correct.
You're wrong. But anyway, the Coues whitetail is an elfin deer. Don't know what that means. Standing 32 to 40 inches at the shoulder. And then this goes on to say it seldom exceeds 100 pounds live weight. Wrong. We regularly measure our bucks at 120 pounds.
Mature bucks.
Mature. We're talking
5.5-year-old deer.
Plus. You know, with our 8.5-year-old bucks, maybe pushing 130 pounds.
And I know it's not uncommon for eastern whitetail. I know a lot of you guys just call them whitetail, but
we have to specify.
We have to specify. We got multiple kinds. So for us, the whitetail that are back east, from what I understand, it's not uncommon for them to reach double that weight. I know it's also...
250 pounds is, I mean, that's a big-bodied whitetail from what I've heard, but that's not uncommon.
I also know that it's not uncommon to have 200-plus inch mule deer.
You mean weight, pounds, not inch. 200 inch.
That's also true. but no, yeah, correct.
What is also eastern whitetail?
I don't know. I just look up what is eastern whitetail.
Exactly.
I know that it's not uncommon to find 200-pound muleys. Not necessarily the desert muleys, but the mule deer that we just hunted up in Colorado with Drew Miles and Tricer. They were all three of those. None of them were giant deer, but all of them had way bigger bodies on them than I believe all three of those deer were well over 200 pounds. So Coues deer are significantly smaller, and we've posted a lot of content of this buck right there. That is a buck we call Big Mac. That is the biggest buck that Mad Hunts has ever killed. Our dad, dude, he killed one. He killed it. That buck, Boone and Crockett, was 129 and what?
1/8.
1/8. 129 and 1/8 was the gross Boone and Crockett score on that. He netted somewhere, I believe, about 127. I'd have to double check. But regardless, that is a giant Coues deer. Boone and Crockett for lifetime on a typical is 110 inches. It's only 105 inches for your to book and it's in there for
5 years, I believe.
and then it washes out.
129-inch Coues deer is a giant. Like that, as a typical, it is just a slob. You know, I'm not too familiar with what Boone and Crockett is for Eastern.
So, all right, so check this out. We got mule deer typical. The minimum for awards, so that's what it's called, the awards, is 180.
Whew,
For lifetime,
that's a big buck.
For lifetime, it's 190 plus. For non-typical, it's 215 is the awards, and 230 plus. So this buck, almost 20 inches bigger, 17 inches bigger than the all-time for Coues deer. That's significantly bigger than a 190 caliber. That's like a 205, 210 inch mule deer typical. That's what that Coues deer would be, maybe even bigger.
Whitetail deer typical is 160, and for awards typical is 160, and then 170 for lifetime. Non-typical is 185 for the awards, and 195 for the lifetime.
Yeah, so let's just do some math here, okay? Connor, get out your calculator real quick like.
Okay.
And we'll say lifetime is on a Eastern whitetail is 170, right?
170.
Is lifetime typical. Divide that by lifetime for a Coues deer typical is 110. So divide that by 110, and what do we come up with?
1.54.
Okay, 1.54. So take that number and now multiply 1.54 times 129. We'll leave out the change. We don't need that.
198.66.
Okay.
198.66.
So that is what this deer would be. If you compared that Coues deer to an Eastern whitetail, that would be what that deer scores.
As a typical.
And that's the same kind of caliber, right? We divided what lifetime is for Eastern whitetail typical.
Correct.
And put it into by what a Coues whitetail typical is, and that's where we came up with that number.
So let's do it for muleys as well.
Okay, so muleys. It would be multiply, I forget what mule deer it was, 190 divided by 110.
1.72.
Okay, so
times 129. 222.81.
So that's like shooting a typical, what was it?
222.81.
So a 220-inch typical mule deer or 198 typical whitetail. That is absolutely insane. And so people don't realize how big that deer actually is. And that's where I think a lot of people get confused. I mean, this is a very big this is a very big Coues deer shed. This right here is a very big whitetail shed.
Well, also too,
you know, I mean, look at the size difference of these.
The world record typical for mule deer is 226 and 4/8. So, the world record typical for Coues deer is, I think, like 136.
I think it's actually 140. It's the Ed Stockwell buck, I believe, is the...
Also a controversial buck.
Yes, absolutely. But that's a story for another time.
Here, I could scroll down and find Coues whitetail deer non-typical and Coues whitetail deer typical. So Coues whitetail typical on Boone and Crockett. Okay, it's 144 and 1/8. But giant.
I mean, and the world record, yeah, I mean, it's absolutely insane how, you know, and this is going off of the Boone and Crockett scores, so there might not be an absolute direct translation, but it's just giving you an idea of how big of a trophy score that deer would be. We got some other deer that are all in the same they're giant deer, and that's what people,
correct,
they don't understand about some of these deer is that they're completely different. And so you look at that deer, that is a absolute once in a lifetime caliber buck. That's bigger than most people will ever even come close to seeing. And
Yeah.
so
with this, a Coues deer, a Coues whitetail, their habits are fairly similar to eastern whitetail. They're very patternable. They don't live in giant territories. Mule deer, they're pretty nomadic. They just kind of do whatever they want. And so with Coues deer, there's not, super big migrations of them. They're going to live relatively in the same areas year in and year out. They do move, they do travel, they do rut, and they rut hard, and they fight. Man, do they fight. But their habits they're pretty similar to eastern whitetail. So you can glass for them.
Just on a different scale.
Yeah. You can glass, you can sit water. We love to sit water for them. But we've hunted them in multiple different ways. So
yeah, you can't manage mule deer like you can the eastern whitetail. The bucks back in Ohio or some of these things. You can't manage Coues or mule deer in the same way.
Well, because they move too much.
They move too much.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have I don't know, you can glass up a mule deer. It could be a once in a lifetime. It could be the world record mule deer. And he's just, glass him up at a mile away, nose to the ground, walking, and you'll never see him again.
Yeah.
Like it's not uncommon to see giant muleys and you just watch them walk away. Coues deer, it's not a matter of if they come back, it's a matter of when.
Correct.
And that's, we've seen, we've killed bucks off the water that we know the exact spot that they're going to come and they're going to put their head in the water hole because they do it every time.
Yeah.
And so
the buck I killed last year, we knew exactly which two fence posts
he was going to walk under.
And by darn it, he did it.
Yep.
And so they're very, very patternable. And I guess until the rut. Once they start rutting, man, do they rut hard.
Absolutely. And they can every buck's a little bit different. They can do some weird things and just off the wall decide to go on a little cruise, little trip.
This buck up here with the kicker off his G2, he just decided to move 3 miles. Just moved permanently. And we were like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, but with Coues deer, you can manage them. They're in the terrain of this western hunting. You can get them up in the mountains. You can you can get them out in the deserts. You can get them in these flats. You can get them in these really tough to hunt environments. But you can hunt them in the exact same way you'd hunt muley. There's people that high rack them. There's people that are sit water for them, like us. There's people that we love to glass them. Glassing Coues deer is phenomenal. If you can get good at glassing for Coues deer, you're good at glassing. that's all there is to it. They're hard to glass for.
Exceedingly hard.
But you can manage them very similar to how you manage the eastern whitetail. We set out hundreds of trail cameras. We do all of that stuff. We have these bucks patterned. We have them named. We're able to learn sort of some of the weather conditions where that they like or particular bucks don't like.
Yeah.
Some bucks like the metal troughs, concrete drinkers. Some bucks like dirt. We're able to learn these things about these deer. So you're able to take one deer species and get the best of both worlds. How do you like to hunt? Some guys are like, man, I'll never sit a blind. That's fine, don't. There's still other ways to hunt them. Some guys are like, man, no, I don't like glassing. I only want to sit a blind. That's cool. Go for it. But, some of these other deer, like you can't really glass as much for eastern whitetail. You can't, there's not great options a lot of the times for some of these mule deer to just sit water for them. There's a lot of mule deer that you can't sit water. The mule deer we were chasing this summer in the archery hunt, we couldn't sit for them. It's not possible. We had to spot and stalk them. We had to glass for them. We had to pick them up and then get on them. But Coues deer, there's so many different ways to hunt them, so many different ways to manage them. And that's, for me, one of the biggest reasons that I really believe that we can, they're my favorite. They're the best in my opinion.
Yeah, they're goated, hands down. If you disagree, you're wrong. Just kidding.
No, let us know though. What do you guys like to hunt? If you haven't hunted Coues deer, we would love to set that up to make that happen for you. I believe that everybody should not only hunt Coues deer, but I believe that everybody should try to hunt Mexico at some point in their life. Experience the culture, experience it for what it is, and there's not a better place in the world to hunt Coues deer than in Mexico. So that's my 2 cents. I just want to show you guys big muley shed, big Coues deer shed. You know, the size difference of these deer is crazy, but they're both respectable deer. You know, these are both day one shooters. Any unit in the world that you can hunt these animals, I would shoot this deer day one anywhere you can hunt Coues deer, and I would shoot this deer day one anywhere you can hunt mule deer. And that whitetail is the same kind of thing. I would shoot it.
Yeah, that's
opening morning, anywhere that I could. That deer's dying. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so that's ultimately the gist of it. Is these deer. There's different species of deer, and we get countless comments that, oh, that's not a big deer. Oh, these deer are small. They're smaller deer, but the trophy of these animals is just as comparable to some of these bigger deer. So,
yep, 100%. Like they're just kind of in their own little plane of existence. Like yeah. We've kind of said it the entire time. We're sounding like a broken record at this point, but you get the best of both worlds. If you've never hunted Coues deer, give it a try. It's not for everybody. People refer to Coues deer hunting as poor man's sheep hunting because they do live in some rugged country, but they also live in the desert flats, and so there's just so many different ways to hunt these bucks, and you have to try so many different out-of-the-box things to try and kill them. Yeah. You know,
they thrive in some brutal country, whether it's up in the higher elevations and steep, nasty, or
down in the Choya Flats where there's just nothing,
no water, no food.
Man,
prickly pears.
Life as a Coues deer must be pretty hard, but they survive and they thrive in some gnarly country.
Absolutely, but. I can't say enough good things about them. I know that it's controversial, and most people are going to disagree, but that's my opinion, and I'll stand by it. I would 100%. I'd rather hunt Coues deer than any other animal out there. There's of course some things that I'd love to try, but man, Coues deer is where my passion is in hunting. It's where it was built on. It's the foundation of it, and it's
not going away anytime soon.
Not going away.
So I'd love a big muley. I'll get one eventually. I'd love a big eastern whitetail. I'll get one of those eventually too. But, for now, I'll continue hunting Coues deer.
Absolutely. I think that's going to do it for us today. I, again, had a blast. If you haven't checked out our previous video, we'll go ahead and make that available to you guys right now. Go give that a watch. Go give that a listen. Go check out some of our other stuff. Leave a like, drop a comment in the comment section. Let us know what more you guys want to hear, what more you guys would like us to talk about. Or if there's somebody you would like us to chat with, we'd also be open to anything. Just let us know what you want. What do you want from us, and we'll see what we can make it happen.
Yeah, subscribe. It's free, and it helps us.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.